Welcome. This is the Late Late Show with BT, where views with security and law are being provided to you, the public. We're not going to do any publications today. We are going to finish up the book, and we're going to add an additional. We're going to finish up Being a Teen, everything teen girls and boys should know about relationships, sex, love, health, identity, and more by Jane Fonda. And keep in mind, we are doing our Cupid crib with love connection. So instead of three, there's two. And it's Jane Fonda versus Jane Goodall for our Alvin. So also keep in mind that I mentioned before last show that my acting project, we were asked to pick a favorite actor and do a favorite work. So my favorite actor, I did Alvin, and I did Moneyball. And again, used his son as a cover. And yesterday, we sent information. We attempted to contact his son in the care of Brad Gray, because what do you know? So, another good news, where we are broadcasting, they are fighting in this city against these corrupt, made me think of, I'm just going to say corrupt under siege, and not the Tommy ones, but the ones that Tommy was fighting against, Tommy and Steven Seagal. So they're here doing a job fair. I didn't grab something from everybody, but I did happen to get, we got Colonial Heights Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center in the house from Ellerslie Avenue in Colonial Heights, Virginia in the fight. We got People Ready, a True Blue company. Hoorah. T-Mobile is in the house. Central State Hospital, because if you don't know, currently the 911 terrorist attacker is attempting to pray there. So with regards to this case, again, we got a hospital, a church, and a court. And it made me think about HCC. You know, there's some type of corporation that uses HCC. I'm like, ooh, HCC. I hope this is like a job for HCC. Excuse me. I think their health care, I don't know what it is, but a hospital, a court, and a church. Or a hospital, a church, and a court. That we got right now. We got Waffle House in the house. Securitas is in the house. John Tyler Community College is representing. Riverview Aquamatics Health and Rehab, I think is the name. Purdue is out there representing. Chick-fil-A, Aldi. I think it's Virginia Early Childhood Foundation is representing, and there are a few more that I haven't named, and they are gonna be representing the whole time that we're doing this show. So we like to represent when there's another hospital, when there's another hospital or something like that, in the same building or whatever. We definitely not ignorant. We're very mindful and thoughtful of that. But this is what we do. We are for fitness. Is our background. So, with that being said, we're gonna go into Being a Teen and finish this on up. It is no coincidence that eating disorders usually begin at the same time that girls and boys begin to try to become popular and fit in and lose touch with who they really are. But whether it is that program or another one, you need help to develop the tools, the skills to face your feelings, recover from the psychic pain that has led to your addiction, and get yourself back. There is a list of resources to turn to at the end of this chapter. Oh yeah, and I don't want to. I know I'm stopping, but and then after going to the job fair, so like Purdue, I didn't know anyway. So Purdue had this little gold, like little thing that has like these little beads in it that remind me of like this thing that was trying to be sold where you can like put your feet in, and it's like instead of water or whatever, it's like these little beads that you put your feet in. But I didn't buy it. But anyway, it reminded me of that. So I was like, oh, can I have this? And he was like, no. I was like, well, can you like keep, I'm gonna be upstairs because they're downstairs. I'm gonna be upstairs. Can you keep it? Can it just be mine while you're here for the rest of the time of the job fair? I'm gonna be upstairs and it just be mine. He didn't say yes or no. But anyway, so then there's like a little school, like elementary. They look about elementary age, and there's like they got a little band in there, and they're like singing. So then I had like 5 minutes, and they're like singing like Hokey Pokey. So I went right in at you put your head in. So there's like a singer on the mic singing. You put your head in, you put your head out, you put your head in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your whole body in, you put your whole body out, you put your whole body in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Then I look, it's like 11:59. I'm like, so I couldn't finish the hokey pokey. But anyway, so then I come up here and they're like people. I'm like waiting. Like they're still in here. I'm like, it's 12 o'clock and you're still in here. But anyway. Because the funny part was like, I'm gonna be upstairs. Can this be like, I'm gonna be upstairs. Can this be like, can it like be mine like while you're still here? But then I don't go upstairs. I go and play hokey pokey with the elementary school students. Anyway, just in case you didn't get my humor. So back to being a teen. The most important thing is to be sure you are safe and do not need to be in the hospital. You may need to be in a hospital to get your body to a safe place before you start a program to address your eating disorder. So, again, one of those things I mentioned about some of these clients that the show Mom has with regards to this 911 terrorist attacker in Danny Glover, is that, what if some of them found themselves also in something that's perceived to be eating disorders? But, kind of like Survivor, you see them like all distraught and sometimes just withdrawn, like sometimes the situation calls for that. Um, but sometimes when you're in a situation, you don't know that that's the situation you're in. And then it's like, well, who are these people trying to be like, you need help versus being in a fight for you against why that has to be the situation at that particular time. It reminds me of Fences when I forgot his name, but he's either the brother or he's the son or something like that. But he has like a learning disability and he comes in and he's like, such and such and such and such and such. But, from like this show viewing that scene, it was like, you know, he was like really intervening, intercepting as if he was like some football player. But his hands, somebody that, like, oh, he couldn't be a football player because it was, it was like being played like that type of disability that impacts your hands. And it's like, like, they always, portray it like this, and like the hands can't be like flat hands, so it's like, how can you catch a football? So it's like, like he was portraying like the skills, the martial arts of like a football player in that particular scene. But the unfortunate thing is, what was being shown is that who's supposed to call themselves caring for him was like, saw the behavior as, I don't know, combative or disruptive, and that it needed not be in their home. So he got put away into a facility, with other people like him, I guess. So I found that to be that scene really stands out to me in Fences. And that's the Fences with no, not Afri. What's her name? How to Get Away with Murder chick. Lady. Viola, with Fences with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington. So you may need to be in a hospital. Oh, we covered that. What getting help shows instead is that you are a smart person who wants to be good to him or herself. So my thanks to who created the illustrations throughout the book, and for her reading of the book. To be sure I was on the right track and got course correction when needed, I gave the manuscript to a number of teenagers along the way who were honest and forthcoming in their feedback. She is co-founder and president of the Religious Institute, a sexologist, and an ordained Unitarian minister who has written numerous wonderful books on parenting, including From Diapers to Dating, Beyond the Big Talk, and What Every 21st Century Parent Needs to Know. While she was on the board of the Georgia Campaign for Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention, since renamed the Georgia Campaign for Adolescent Power and Potential in Raising a Young Son, she suggested I write this book. So as a resource guide, we have, can include, I guess, several, but the ones that we can include are Girl Power Rebellion to Free Girls and Women from Media Imposed Standards of Beauty. That is the Dressing Room Project. You can get more information about them at www.thedressingroomproject.org/index.html. Also provides information about young people's rights to sex education, birth control, access to abortion, and more, arranged by state. That will be Sex in the States, www.sex-center/sex-in-the-states. So that's www.sex-etc.org/action center/sex-in-the-states. Resources for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning, or LGBTQ youth. Representing offers mentorship, leadership development, and community service training to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer or LGBTQ students is the Cont Foundation, www.contfoundation.org. Also representing, in addition to the helpful information on its website, Love is Respect has a national dating abuse helpline that teens can access 24/7 by text, phone, or online chat. And that's loveisrespect.org, www.loveisrespect.org. Break the Cycle, empowering youth to end domestic violence, www.breakthecycle.org. A national initiative led by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, to prevent youth violence before it starts among young people ages 10 through 24, representing striving to reduce youth violence everywhere. STRYVE. More information on them is www.vetoviolence.cdc.gov/STRYVE. So that didn't seem like a whole lot, but we definitely didn't want to feel rushed last show. So if you were wondering, this book was set in Garamond, a typeface originally designed by the Parisian type cutter. This version of Garamond was modeled on a 1592 specimen sheet from the Eglonoff Burner Foundry, which was produced from types assumed to have been brought to Frankfurt by the punch cutter, Jacques Sabone. And that has been our Being a Teen. Everything teen girls and boys should know about relationships, sex, love, health, identity, and more. It's also known as this thorough, concise guide offers straight talk about identity empowerment, how to be authentic and thrive in today's world. And that was by Jane Fonda. Now before we get into, I bought these and I haven't tried this. Today is my first time trying these, and sometimes when I would do it with a visual, I would add something, I forgot what the segment was, but it would be like culinary or something like food related, or something that you put internally, something that you eat. So these are called Takis, Takis, and they're by some company named Barcel. So yeah, this is my first time trying it. It doesn't have a flavor. It doesn't have a flavor to them. But they're called Takis. I'm just gonna eat me a real live. Those are tortilla chips fajita. They always encourage you to read the nutrition facts on stuff, you know, the nutrition facts. And sometimes write it down and keep track of your fat. And it does help when you go and, you know, you support something in the industry. I can't imagine it not helping. So these Takis have, let's see, what do we have? Saturated fat is 2.5 G. Monosaturated fat, 2.5 G. Sodium is 240 mg. Protein, get this, 2 G. And the serving size is 28 G, which is about 12 pieces. We can't reveal all the ingredients. But some of the ingredients include, or it could include, rice bran oil, and artificial colors such as yellow 6 lake and blue 1 lake. Does that mean I can't eat these if I don't know how to swim? I mean, it does say lake. Is it like a really shallow lake? Ingredients also include soy, well, it could include soybean oil. There's no guarantee. And it's a company of Grupo Bimbo. And so Bimbo has bread as well. I haven't seen Bimbo around here though. And I'm like, you know, I think I'm gonna give me a Bimbo. But yeah, they have bread too that they actually use the name. If it's the same company, I would think it has to be the same company. They actually put Bimbo on the product. Bread. And it's a little less expensive than other bread too. I was like, Bimbo, you are welcome in my house. I shared my remaining Takis with you. And they were giving away little freebies. Oh, I did share that. But they also had like some other little like candy or whatever. And then I grabbed sweet tea. Let's see. I share the nutrition facts because it's important to read and understand your nutrition facts. To be nutritious. So the serving size is 12 fluid ounces, which is the serving size. And let's see, it has, that's about it. As far as ingredients, I can share. I guess you have to buy your own. Drinkbrisk.com, and it's tagged as low sodium. Sweet tea. Brisk. Because this is the Late Late Show with BT. So why not have a little sweet tea? This is actually my first time. Like I just like opened it right now. This is my first time trying it. It's not really sweet, you know, like you would think. Like it's like sweet to be like, oh, sweet, I guess. Like Sweet. I don't know what sweet. I guess sweet is to different people, but whatever. It serves its purpose. Sweet tea. So we are gonna get into true love. So in the Cupid crib, I have put together Rachel and Faison. And I didn't know that this book was even out there. And when was it published? Because we started the show in 2013. This book was published, and it had to be way before then. Oh no, this book came out after. This book came out in 2014. So yeah, we started the show in February 2013. This book came out in 2014. So it came out after. So it's like it's seemed like one of those things where it's just seemed like it's so easy to be together, right? True love, because it seems like it goes together. And shouldn't it, or should it, or shouldn't it, or should it? Does it? Anyhow. True Love, Jennifer Lopez. Back to the Bronx, Jenny from the block. And if we have time, then I might feel like doing a little song. I haven't done anything, and I'm really feeling inspired. I have so much inspiration in me right now. Especially with Prince. Like I'm really inspired to do some Prince. So, but we're gonna do True Love. So remember Cupid Crib. I put So Cupid Crib, I put Rachel again. With Rachel had been out for a while before I even knew anything about Faison. So, because it's like one of those things. It's like, oh, you didn't want to do it, but then like people support True Love so much, you're like, well, why not? Why not let these two, be the ones to be it and be a contribution to like the Cupid Crib. Why not? It is what our show is about. And but then it's that thing where it's like, okay, so does that mean that you are like the only one that actually knows like true love, and is that fair? I guess it's like, really? Like, really? Like, some point, what point did you stop? What really? Really? So you want to get support about it not being fair that I could possibly be the only one that knows true love. Welcome to the Late Late Show with BT, where views with security and law are being provided to you, the public. This was going to be the first time they'd see their mummy perform in front of thousands and thousands of people. I know it's crazy because the crew is watching with faces that say, "This is crazy." I hold strong as the band plays a dramatic intro while the opening movie plays on the screen. When I started planning the tour, I knew it was going to be the anchor for a very personal show. The process of building the tour and performing it each and every night for audiences around the world helped me get back to who I am, someone who sings, who dances, who expresses herself, and connects with people through music. But by the end, I think you'll agree, you have gotten so much more. I am haunted by the inescapable thought that I let down my beautiful babies. Rock bottom, hitting rock bottom. Anybody looking from the outside in would have thought my life was going great. I had a husband and two beautiful children, and my career was flying high. My mom, who lives in New York and happened to be in town that week, came to the desert with me that day, and my dear manager was there too. In a blur of fear and panic, I looked at Benny. In a blur of fear and panic, I looked at my mother and blurted out the words, I don't think I can be with anymore. Deep down, I knew that nothing would ever be the same. I collapsed into their arms and began to sob. I was going to be ridiculed, chastised, and mocked. I was so scared to have another failure, to be scrutinized by the world, and to disappoint everyone again. It would affect these two beautiful little souls who we had brought into the world. As I struggled with the idea of breaking up my family, I had to consider what was best for my kids in the long run, and I agonized over what would serve them best in life. That day in the desert, with my brain going wild trying to deny reality, I had finally hit rock bottom. On Christmas Day in 2010, 7 months before that L'Oreal photo shoot, we had a house full of people. From the beginning, it was tumultuous, passionate, and explosive, but we also shared many fulfilling and joyful moments. But the very next Christmas, 12 months later, I was waking up alone. I wanted to be in my own home, as empty as it now felt. So, with everyone else, we had a pretty full table, even if it wasn't as full as the one we had the year before. What I will always remember about that Christmas is not the tears or the loneliness, but the toast that Benny gave. I looked around the table at all these people I loved, my dad, my babies, my cousins, my aunt. As he spoke, I began to see that I did have people around me who supported and loved me unconditionally and had always been there. As I looked around the table, it hit me. He was right. Speech gave me that beautiful gift. So when I married, having already been through the disappointment of two divorces and a broken engagement, I wanted so much for our marriage to be it. Tired to be someone I knew that I wasn't, I thought I could make myself happy with you. I believed that with all my heart until I finally realized in the months leading up to that day in the desert that it wasn't meant to be. I wasn't listening to my own inner voice, and now my body and soul were physically telling me that I could no longer be there. And I'm going to stop here because I guess if Jennifer Lopez went into it, because sometimes Jennifer Lopez just happened to like go into certain things that I don't want to say could be troublesome or could be, you know, I don't say be troublesome, or it's like if there's like true love, like me putting Faison and Rachel together and being the only one that knows it. That doesn't seem like trouble. But when you have someone that's like that think that's not fair, that somebody with law and security has the only access to knowing true love, you know, then it'd be like it's a job for Jennifer Lopez. So she took on the task, I'm assuming, and that's how this came to be. And I was thinking, well, if it becomes one of those things, where it's like the ones like these, selfish whatever that think that's not fair will be where the challenges and the discord will be coming from, that will try to keep them apart. It's like if I can't have this, if I can't know this in my life, well then why should you? So I was thinking, if they're not really up for that type, if it's just not done to be in a type of relationship because they're not really up to defend themselves from that, even though they've been out and did this and did that. They're not really up for that, where they can have a comfortable, easygoing relationship without all that, without the stronghold or defense against it, to keep that in check. Then maybe, You need to redirect truth someplace else and love someplace else as well. Um, and it just be, you know, because who really needs that type of drama? I mean, really, um, but if it's yours, then the drama will already be kept in check anyway. You just gotta like know that and be in that, right? When it's yours. And I'm really not about, let's just see, let's just see if it is. No, I'm like, that is just not me. Um, because my personal experience, for me, is like when it comes to mother and father, I've already mentioned and been upfront about exercising my rights when it comes to that and pursuing, and supporting what comes with that fully. Because that could be um, presented as a deadly situation, as a deadly offender, with regards to trying to take your life. So going back to this, I believe that with all my heart until I finally realized in the months leading up to that day in the desert that it wasn't meant to be. I wasn't listening to my own inner voice, and then my body and soul were physically telling me that I could no longer be there. When I think back on it years earlier, I had reached a similar moment in my career. They had the best of intentions. So because I wasn't also listening to myself, I ended up caring more and more about what they wanted and how I was perceived by the public and the media than what I knew was right for me as an artist. Because I was so used to being seen as that woman in the tabloids, the Hollywood diva, I forgot what it was like to be known as myself. It's vital to be in touch with who you are at your core, not to lose yourself in the hustle. I had always wanted to believe that my public image didn't affect my feelings of self worth, but unfortunately, that wasn't always the case. Because the truth is, nobody knows what's best for you better than you do. It's not about being the best or the biggest or the queen or the queen, the king or the queen. You have to keep that focus and stay true to who you are in order to be creative and make the best decisions. I began to ask what's next. What new dream am I going to build now? In the days following that Christmas dinner, this was the question I kept coming back to. By January 1st, I had faced my worst fear, the breakup of our seemingly perfect family. Can I be their earthly? I had to be strong. Now, understand, I had never done a triathlon before. I had run a 10K when I was 12, but never anything close to a triathlon. On the morning of the race, as I was standing there, surrounded by 1,000 paparazzi about to jump into the ocean, I realized that this probably wasn't the best idea I ever had. All I could see was a buoy 500 meters out, and the only thing blocking its view were the waves crashing toward me. After a reflective Christmas and a New Year's, I've been trying to make the best of it. It was 1 in the afternoon, and I was lying in bed all by myself, staring at the ceiling. And in a quiet, determined tone that Benny has come to know means I've had a revelation, I said, I have to tour this year. Because I had never done a solo tour before. I wanted to get it just right. I wanted to tell a story, to open myself up to people, to give them what they've been waiting to see. Yet part of me was so drawn by the fantasy of it. If you and I do a song together, it has to be a smash. By then, a couple of months had gone by and I had just split up. I wanted to get back to that feeling, that person. Music is a declaration of what life is and what you want it to be. I said to Benny, wants to do this as a duet, but I think it will work better if I did it alone. In some ways, every song is like that because music is a gift in itself. When you listen to the right tune and the lyrics express your soul's truest feelings, it lifts you up. It's a beautiful thing. And now, as an artist, to be able to make that music and sing it for myself, sing it for others, is one of my biggest blessings from God. When you listen to the right tune and the lyrics express your soul's truest feelings, it lifts you up. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I would never record anything that's too negative or too depressing because that's not what I want my life to be about. Would I have the stamina to be on the road so long? Would it be too much for the kids? I don't usually go for that kind of thing, but people kept saying how incredible this guy was. Whenever you end up going on tour, he said, it's going to be more than traveling around and doing shows. This seemed like a strange thing for a psychic to latch on to, but then the guy actually started to get kind of emotional. And as I was going back and forth with, I have to be honest, I found myself thinking about it. And after all the pain I've been through, I wanted my old self back. Strong me, happy me, dancing me. I took a step back, took a deep breath, and said, I'll do it. But the first song is just as important as it sets the stage for everything to come. What do I want this show to be about? While we were in the editing process, I was watching clips with the choreographer when I noticed one of the background dancers doing a really cool move. So I said, let's bring that guy in. Was pretty young at the time, but he had done choreography, had worked with artists like Michael Jackson, had been on TV shows like Glee. He and the other dancers saw me as strong and capable and determined again, and slowly I was able to be strong and capable and determined. It has to be never going to give up because that's who you are. Yes, this big thing in my life went wrong, but I'm not going to give up. And as the word love hangs in the air, I close my book, get up from my desk, and I walk through the backstage of an old majestic theater. This was the scenario I wanted to create in the big Hollywood opening section of the Dance Again tour. The emergence of the star with all the glamour and glitz. Big Hollywood would feature the big hits, Get It Right, Love Don't Cost a Thing, I'm Into You, and Waiting for Tonight. I can't remember a time before I did these things, and from the moment I started, I've never stopped doing either. Every finish line is the beginning of a new race, he says. When I was a little girl, I didn't think I'm going to be a star. I practiced until my legs and feet ached. I wanted to be the best at it that I could possibly be. But there is one thing they all had in common. They all had a passionate intensity that I mistook every time for my happily ever after. It's easy to project your hopes and dreams into a relationship when it's new and exciting, but the truth is that it is only in knowing who you are at your core and staying true to yourself that you can possibly see the difference between passion and real love. I was lucky or unlucky enough to be with men who were really intense about their feelings for me. I believed that these gestures inevitably signified love. Does it get any better than this? I always tried to be the perfect girlfriend, the perfect wife. At some point along the way, I was no longer Jennifer from the Bronx. I was becoming Jennifer Lopez, the conglomerate. Now I was J-Lo the brand. But there is still that other dream of a loving family, and unlike my career where all the pieces were falling beautifully into place, love remained a puzzle that I couldn't find the right pieces for. The one thing I didn't seem able to figure out. I had never stopped to take a look at that before. I think back and me sandwiched together for all those years, I loved my sisters. I didn't mind a bit that we were all in one another's space, even at night when we were sleeping. But then once my career took off and I was in the middle of the whirlwind of this Hollywood fairy tale, my life was so different. I was a grown up now, out there on my own, traveling and seeing the world. And yet I couldn't stand sleeping by myself. I was always looking for another person to be with me. It wasn't that I preferred to be with someone else. The problem was I hated not to be. You have to be okay on your own before you can have a healthy relationship with another person. But again, I didn't know that yet. You have to be okay on your own before you can have a healthy relationship with another person. So it was around 2000 where I was like, the next person I'm going to actually have a relationship that, I thought I was having relationships, which that wasn't what was really going on. But it was like, I'm going to get married to. And so I haven't. And then I started, and then, all this truth or whatever comes out, what's true and what wasn't, and that brings me to say that when I was mentioned, when we first introduced the Cupid Crib, and there were, in ours, some people who internally, went with other people, when they're not with that person. And we're up against, our feelings and our beliefs and our stand with regards to mother and father. Um, and offenders or, you know, and trying to prey on the innocent and their innocence. Um, such as with Will and Jada. Because in our Cupid Crib, we put Will with a different Jada. Still with the Jada, but that Jada. And Jada has been fighting in it, and I guess it should have been clear that she couldn't be with Will and set it off, you know. But it's kind of like we were introducing being a teen with regards to Alvin and Jane, and then we get into Harry and Meghan. It became those kind of complexities sometimes. And I was like, he's with a Jada, but it really isn't that Jada. So, like, technically, like, it's like, how do you get out of that? Like, how do you get out of this is your wife? In your mind, this is your wife because this is your wife, or then your mind, and it's like for some reason it's been going into the wife versus the husband. Because it's like the Jane, the Jada, the Megan. For some reason, so far that's what's been getting here. So it's like getting out of that. Getting out of that. It's like yes, but not her. So we got, the Jada Pinkett fighting, in another show, because I guess evidently because of the mother-father thing, they were, it became kind of clear what they were trying to get at or take from her, or, as if they were trying to give her like a disease of the vagina, like a, what is that? I forgot what it's called. They were trying to do something like really to put her out of that situation. And it was not called for. And then you have this. You have to be okay on your own before you can have a healthy relationship with another person. And then I'm like, you know what? Being so focused on, Cupid Crib and togetherness, there are some people who are just supposed to be alone. Who, like they have all these different things. There's a reason why they have singles cruises and singles this, and, you can go to the store and buy singles, like, yeah, support them, support singles, buy it, because there's a place for them, and who will we be to look down on someone because, or consider them lonely or desperate, because that's a life that not only they chose, but was chosen for them. And it's kind of seeming like the Meghan Markle is one of those people. It's kind of seeming like the Daryl Sabara might be one of those people as well, where, and that's how they were able to go into that without it being theirs, and to be able to get out of it alive without getting killed, because they might actually be contributors to singles, and not as sluts, they like to say slut, not as a slut, but as an actual contributor. Not going around sleeping with other people's men or other people's women, but enjoying life, traveling, because I've been, have had the opportunity to experience that life, in order for me to do it and been betrothed with someone since a baby, there have to have be like, oh, this is awesome, and it's not really supposed to be awesome for me. There has to be people where this is actually awesome for, you know, to travel and really enjoy and go out and enjoy it, just enjoy the energy of people and um, as a single, and enjoy being single. So you know, um, but it comes with accepting that versus, um, like someone mentioned to me before, like, I don't want to be an old maid like this person, and then a few months later, she died, because I don't want to be, I have, two kids by two different men, and I don't want to be an old maid. She died, you know, as if that life is like, you have to have someone, you have to have the kid thing, you have to have the family, you have to be, you have to have this to be happy. You can't be the one traveling to Miami, sipping lemonade at an outdoor cafe and enjoying it. Like, that can't be you. I never thought, well, let me take some time to see if I really want to be with this person. I'm about to sign you out. We can get right before the night is up. We can get right, we can get right. Being a couple that was on the cover of a tabloid magazine for 2 years straight, hounded by the paparazzi, and constantly judged, our relationship crumbled under the pressures of the media scrutiny that surrounded us. It's not just the cover of a magazine or a headline to everyone else. Today's joke, tomorrow's trash. But for me, when I split up at the moment, when I thought we were committing to each other forever, it was my first real heartbreak. It felt like my heart had been torn out of my chest. And when the realization that I wasn't going to have the fairy tale family I wanted really set in, well, that was when I really started to fall apart. I was dealing with the emotional pain of all that build up and let down, the high hopes and excitement that ended in tears and frustration. I get that, but I've never been one to do those things. Right from the beginning, he never made it a secret that he liked me. But the best thing about him, the thing that I loved the most, was that no matter what, he always knew how to make me laugh. Maybe I had to go through the bad so I could end up with the person I was meant to be with all along. After all, the first time I ever met in 1998 backstage while he was performing on Broadway, his opening line to me had been, "One day you're going to be my wife." We make our own choices, and I chose to believe that, and I were meant to be together, that destiny was stepping in. In that moment, I needed to believe that. I needed to believe in something. The reality was, I just didn't want to be alone. So when he was there, when he met me with this big smile, his heart on his sleeve, and his arms open wide, I was more than happy to let myself fall into them. So, like that defense again. Like when it's you, but it's like you not being alone continues, that there's an attempt to keep selling that to you when it's not you. This had to be the start of my fairy tale. Thinking back, maybe deep down, I knew that this was a band-aid on the cut, that my wound hadn't been stitched or healed, but I pushed all that to the back of my mind. And soon I would get stronger and feel better and get to be in amazing shape because once you build up that strength and stamina, you end up feeling better than you ever could have imagined. By the end of a tour, you feel like you can jump over buildings, but to get to that point, first you have to push through the pain. I never thought maybe I rushed into this or maybe we're not the best people for each other. I think of the days when the sun used to set on my empty heart all alone in my bed, tossing and turning, emotions were strong. I knew I had to hold on. Jennifer was gone, and now there's Jess and Jennifer, the couple that was meant to be. I knew people wanted to see the same dancing choreography they see in the videos for all these songs, so that's what we gave them. But with bigger arrangements, more dancers, a bigger stage, so it felt to the audience how it felt to me. But then, as we moved deeper into the set, the tone began to change. Little by little, the hats came off, the jackets came off, and then the shirts came off too. We started to literally bare ourselves here. Every time I would see them fall, and they'd be carried off and revived backstage, because that was how it had felt in real life. Back to the Bronx. Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block. I had given the audience the big, glamorous Hollywood movie star opening. I knew, but for the show, I had to revisit a place that inspired my passion, Castle Hill Avenue in the Bronx. That was my neighborhood, the place where I grew up hearing hip hop, salsa, R&B, pop, and every other kind of beat, all while walking down the block. The Bronx was alive with sound and color and life, and I soaked it all up. The Bronx was alive with sound and color and life, and we soaked it all up. I always identified with that beat, the grit and the pulse of it. Years later, I sang about those times in the song feeling so good, and the video took me right back to Castle Hill. It was Big Pun and Fat Joe and me, all of us back in the Bronx, singing about the pleasures of everyday life there. Simple pleasures like walking into the beauty parlor, picking up your check, and buying yourself something new to wear so you can go out with your friends and have fun. Those are moments I think back to later on. Whenever the hard times knock me flat, whenever I go through a breakup, when I feel like I was losing myself, I find myself thinking, you need to get back to who you are. Was there something missing from back in the days when I was that girl pounding the streets of New York doing auditions and hoping for the big break? Because that girl never worried about what the future was going to hold. Life was visceral. There was that Bronx mentality of taking each day as it comes. I was relentless, reaching, always reaching, trying to get that brass ring. That continues to be my mentality now. We don't stop working because we have money in the bank. We do what we do and we keep on doing it. That's what Jenny from the Block is all about. That's what I wanted to show people in the back to the Bronx section of the show, the duality between big Hollywood and life on Castle Hill. But I'm still that little girl who's playing the part of a movie star, that same girl from the Bronx, wearing big hoop earrings and listening to hip hop. I'm wearing loose fitting pants, a bikini top, and a black cape with a hood over my head. Tonight feels like we can do anything we like. Tonight feels like the best night of my life. I'm going in. I wanted to follow up the big Hollywood opening with the back to the Bronx section to show people who I really was, that girl with the New York fight in me, and I knew exactly who could make that happen. Once again, the show became life, imitating art, imitating life because because we went in with this whole boxing thing. You're down but not out, and no matter what's happening in your life, you keep fighting. After performing in music videos and some of the biggest award shows in the world, performing night after night in front of tens of thousands of people on a world tour, despite what I imagined, proved to be one of the most natural things that I had ever done. And they screamed back, "The Bronx!" I'm just a simple girl from the Bronx. Do you all want to go back to the Bronx with me? The night I shouted this out to the fans in the Boston TD Garden Arena, I put on my sparkly New York Yankees ball cap like I did every night. As they booed, I started laughing. No matter where I go, I know where I came from, Jenny from the block. No matter what city around the world we were visiting at that moment, everybody knew we were in the Bronx. I'm real, ain't it funny, feeling so good, Jenny from the block. They have become so much a part of my image, how people saw me, because that's how I saw myself. Who would never let herself be treated like dirt? Who would never lose herself in a relationship? Who would never feel her whole world shaken by anyone? I always thought so. But then I remember the conversation from years ago, back in the beginning of my career. I told her, but was it really? Oh, I always thought so. But then I remember the conversation from years ago, back in the beginning of my career. She was a little bit older. Maybe she'd been through something like that herself, or maybe she's seen it in others. I have been trying to have kids ever since we got married. We were worried about birth control, thinking that nature would take its course, and soon enough I would get pregnant. But the first few years of our marriage were kind of shaky, and with the stress of that, nothing happened. While at first it didn't seem like a big deal, later on I began to worry. It was a strange in between time. I already had 3 kids by 2 other women. So I began to think it was about me. And it's not like we haven't been trying to get pregnant. I guess my life is going to be about other things, my work and career rather than having kids. I told my dad. I was able to see that I deserved to have that blessing as much as anybody else. Everything I've been telling myself about having kids and having a career came out of the fear that I wasn't really worthy, that I didn't deserve it. And for the first time ever, I truly believed that I could. And then 7 weeks later, I found out I wasn't having only one baby, but 2. I was backstage as the show was about to begin. This was going to be the first real public appearance of my very pregnant belly, so I was a little nervous. It's funny, when you're single and out there doing your thing, people feel okay making you a target. But when you're somebody's wife, somebody's mom, then they back off a little bit on criticizing you. This was going to be the role of a lifetime. Anyone would tell you that becoming a mother is one of the most life-changing experiences you will have in life. My baby changed me in so many ways, and even before they were born, I started to notice the ways in which I started to see life differently. I didn't want to be inhaling the smoke, so I moved away from them. It was such a small thing, but it got me thinking. I've been around smokers before, but it never bothered me. I realized that being pregnant, of course, wasn't only about me anymore. I had 2 other people to take care of. I was finally starting to behave in a way that was putting me and my twins first. It might seem like a small thing, but this incident led to a big realization of how I was mistreating myself. It was easy to blame other people for treating me in ways I didn't like, but now I was seeing that I was the one at fault. The only way you can be mistreated is by allowing yourself to be mistreated. And that was something I did over and over again. So here I was, that girl from the Bronx, fighting and fighting like I was supposed to. But who was I really fighting against? I'm still, I'm still Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block. Back to the Bronx was one of the most popular moments in the show because it was nostalgic. It took people back to that old school hip hop feeling, back to that time when you felt like you knew everything. So that hip hop cockiness that made you feel so powerful, like you could take over the world. Nobody was going to get the best of you. The only way you can be mistreated is by allowing yourself to be mistreated. I might have lost my way, but Jenny from the block was still alive and well. So now in the show, after having gone from Hollywood to the Bronx, the funky love section would get to the heart of who I was as an artist. Love in all its glory, the good and the bad, wanting to get it right, always wanting, always hoping, always fighting. I wanted it to be half James Brown, half Tina Turner. I came out shaking my hips and thrashing my hair as the band pounded out the soulful throwback. I sang in my grittiest voice about how I wasn't going to leave, and it ended with the guys literally having to drag me off the stage, picking me up, and throwing me over their shoulders as the band banged out the encore over and over until I finally gave up. Every time I try to run, something keeps stopping me. I try my best to turn around, but your touch won't let me leave. The lyrics are all about the beginning of a new relationship and what I expect and what I want. And there's a little bit of fear in there too. A feeling of what will you do if I give you my heart? In the verses, I'm trying to lay down the rules, but the chorus expresses all of the fear that I feel. If you had my love and I gave you all my trust, would you comfort me? Love in all its glory, the good and the bad. Again, we shared a laugh because they knew what I was talking about because we've all been through it, right? It's the moment in the show where I started to bare my soul. What was amazing about doing that night after night on the tour was that every time I did it, I felt a little bit more forgiving of myself. There's something liberating about standing up in front of a crowd of people and saying, I know that maybe I haven't made the best choices. Little by little, I was healing. After the babies were born, as I embraced my strength and regained my sense of self, I began to look around and take stock of the rest of my life, including my career and my relationships. I was on the road toward trusting my instincts, following my own heart, and I was beginning to see things more clearly. I wanted to be home, who were only two at the time and working on American Idol, which shoots mostly in Los Angeles, will make that possible. I really loved the show and believed that I had something to contribute to it. I was enjoying having a family and I loved being a mommy. I had just birthed two human beings from my belly. The first time I saw them, I was in the hospital, lying on that table, having my C section, and my doctor shouted, Baby number one on the left. He looked at me, and I see a little bit of sadness in those eyes, a little bit of pain in a way that made me know, yeah, that guy has lived. Idol have been slumping a little bit in the last couple of seasons, but if everything went well, 20 million people will be tuning in to watch us. I stepped out of bed and walked into the bathroom, and when I looked at myself in the mirror, I was as white as a ghost. I came back to bed and said, Wake up! I really credit him with that because he always encouraged me, giving me tips and telling me I could do it. And he always had a really smart take on things when it came to business. He was a wonderful partner in that sense. It's so big. 20 million people are going to be watching, and I've never done TV like this without a script or lyrics or anything. You get to hide behind that mask, but that's not so bad. Did it make sense to be scared because the show was potentially a huge success? And for me, there's no worse feeling than putting something out there that people don't respond to. But when the show started airing, something wonderful happened. The very thing I was afraid of turned out to be the best thing ever. For the first time, people were seeing the real me, not the me fabricated by tabloids and magazines. And they liked what they saw. Back to the real me. People were looking for a diva, but they found the mama instead. Of all the good things I thought might come out of being on Idol, this one I hadn't expected, and it turned out to be the biggest, most important thing of all. But there's this beautiful baby coming. It was strange, but that's how I felt it at the time. Like I was on the precipice of something amazing. And the response to being me, not only from everyone at Idol, but also from the audience watching the show was so warm and embracing that I felt protected and loved. It gave me a little bit of the self-confidence I had lost over time, a little bit of the grounding I had been lacking since the big Hollywood whirlwind took over my life. I pretty much expected to blend in and have a good time, but when I walked into the party, people started swarming all around me asking about American Idol. I couldn't believe that in this room, full of the most successful creative people in Hollywood, everyone wanted to talk about Idol. That was the beginning of the beginning, the time when I started to feel like myself again. I had found that taking risks, being true to myself, and making decisions with good intentions can exceed even my own expectations. In the midst of all this excitement and outpouring of appreciation and love, the bubble was burst with three simple words. I'm not happy. I'm here because we have a family, because we're trying to keep it together, but I'm not happy. But the truth was, I had never even stopped thinking about whether I was happy. It was like a light bulb finally turned on in my head. What sense did it make to keep suppressing my own feelings of what was missing in the relationship? To him, it was some little argument, and now everything would go back to normal. But the thing is, in my relationship, I was still stuck in the same pattern I had been stuck in my entire life. My own happiness and sense of self-worth still depended on how happy he was. But now I was finally strong enough to identify not only that I couldn't, but that wasn't the point. It was as if something had been destroyed, something I'd worked so hard to build, something beautiful was breaking that I once treasured. The brilliant choreographer who did some of the most powerful pieces in the show, the tone setters, including both the opening and closing, Numbers set about trying to make the lyrics come alive. Lower down the stage are two couples, one to my left and one to my right, and they're dancing, but they're also acting out the kind of abusive behavior described in the song. But the end result was beautiful and powerful and true. As I sang, the two couples kicked and slapped and fought. But as we reached the end of the song, Con tus manos de bombaste en nuestra casa, or with your own hands you destroyed our home, the man and woman who had been the aggressors exited the stage, and the woman and man who had been abused turned and walked away from them. I know what it feels like for your soul to be diminished by the way your loved one is treating you. Maybe it's a push, a shove, or a nasty word that stays with you. That scars might not be visible, but they run just as deep. It was meant to be the culmination of this great, amazing season that had rejuvenated the show, but we couldn't get to agree to any of the songs. We floated a bunch of ideas out there, but for this reason or that reason, it didn't work out. He tried, but eventually it became obvious that it just wasn't going to happen. I was disappointed because this finale was going to be the show. I mean, we had a whole roster of A-list artists who were going to perform. Tony Bennett, Lady Gaga, Gladys Knight. It was an amazing lineup of talent. We were supposed to be at the center of it, the stars, the home team, but it just wasn't in the cards. The next day, 2 days before the finale, I went down to the Hollywood Walk of Fame where I was getting a star. We want you to be happy. And I love that he wanted to make it right, which is really typical of how I've been treated by everyone at American Idol for the whole season. After all, I wanted this to be good for us. I wanted everything to be perfect. Finally, it was our turn. Saying it was blowing the roof off the place. The moment built and built, and as the trumpets blasted the last notes of the song, I posed next to my back to the audience, my hand on his chest, giving him the final moment in the spotlight. But later, I realized that performance should have been the culmination of an amazing year in my life and my career, and for some reason, it just wasn't. When I look back, the finale feels like the end of the era, and I were magic on stage, but that was the last time we performed together as husband and wife. We have to be okay because if we're not okay, the whole thing falls apart. I got my answer the very first week we were back, the week of our 7th anniversary. I realized I wasn't the same person anymore, and I just wanted to be fighting, didn't want to be fighting anymore. I didn't want to think it was normal, to think that was normal. I wanted to be able to stand in front of them and say, I did the right thing, not to be some broken person who stayed in the marriage for the wrong reasons. I have fought so hard to keep things together, but you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. In this moment, I realized that no matter how hard it would be, the best thing I could do was to walk away. When you have children, you feel love like you haven't felt before. The first time I held, and when they were these tiny, helpless little babies, I felt such a pure feeling toward them. Too often that love felt conditional, like I had to behave in a certain way or earn it somehow to keep it. The Bible tells us that love is patient, love is kind. It's love, and I have found it. Feel the beat again, stronger than before. I'm going to give you my heart until the beats no more. I wanted to believe that no one would notice we were there, or if they did, that maybe they recognized that we just wanted to have a nice day with the kids and give us some space. Mom and I put them on the ride and they laughed and shouted as they went around. They were having so much fun. And it was like a balm to my soul to see my baby so happy. Whenever I'm having a hard time, I want her there because she says and does things that always make me feel better. Because there's something about a mother's love for her kids that transcends everything. I really wanted the audience to see, to understand that that kind of love, the love I feel for my children, is what I consider to be the purest love of all, and the impact that it had on me. And speaking of which, it makes me want to sing Rain by Madonna. And as the piano played the opening chorus to Until It Beats No More, I would say to the crowd, there's all different types of love, but then there's real, true love. Throughout the whole song, photos and videos, and many of them taken by my dear friend, flashed up on the screen a collage of so many beautiful moments we've had together. The love that has shown me that life was to be celebrated, not just endured. But everybody, Benny, the band, the dancers, the crew, all said, no way. Will we always be together? Me, you, and are always going to be together no matter what, okay? I pulled the blanket up around his shoulders and he relaxed into my arms. It's time to extract the good from the bad and leave the rest behind. We use these to do quick changes, but they can be so beautiful if done right and can really enhance the message of the show. I asked her to do something similar to Baby I Love You, a song I have written many years before for my This Is Me Then album. We wanted to show the blossoming of a new kind of romantic love. It was a beautiful, emotive piece. Two people sitting side by side on the bench together but independent of each other, meeting and discovering one another. It was loving, but it wasn't needy. It was sweet and strong at the same time. At this point in the show, we had now established how people see me. Big Hollywood. How I see myself, the Bronx section, who I am as an artist, and my message about love, and how motherhood had changed my entire perspective on love and how it wasn't what I thought it was. I was in transition, and this was a perfect transition piece, a perfect breather before the big finale. And I feel like that's where we are right now, at a big finale. Like, this is not how I want my life to be. You're hitting rock bottom, she said. You know, Jennifer, you have to hit bottom before you can make a change. And it's finally happening. And that was a very frightening, disorienting place to be. Two, I worked on learning what integrity meant, which would cause a massive change, but we'll get back to that later. And three, the biggest light bulb that went off during those 2 weeks was that I realized I wasn't recognizing the value of my own love. We're selfless in the best ways, but that can be dangerous too. That's what relationships are supposed to be about, a place where you feel good, right? Give me comfort when things are tough. Being me, being famous, doesn't mean I don't need those things like any other girl. I gave off the air of being self sufficient instead of expressing and demanding the right kind of love for myself. I always wanted to appear like I was fine. In fact, I thought I was fine, and so did they. But it wasn't true. Just because you're a strong girl doesn't mean you don't need to be loved and cared for like anybody else. And it doesn't matter where you sit in this world, poor or rich, famous or not, we all need to be loved in the right way. At the time, I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, but now thinking back, I understand what she meant. I had never truly believed I was great at acting or anything else for the matter. I was just trying to be as good as I could be. I would keep trying to fix things and make them better, searching for that validation. I always thought the reason it wasn't working hard to be because I was doing something wrong. In fact, that would oftentimes become the glue that kept these relationships together. I was so concentrated on doing everything in my power to make the other person happy, to make the other person love me, to make them believe that I was great because deep down, I didn't really believe that I was. I'm no psychologist, but I think much of it can be traced back to my upbringing. As a middle child, I was always trying to be perfect at everything I did in order to get some attention. I always tried to be the best-hearted, nicest, most well-behaved kid. On the flip side, that same flaw turned out to be a very positive driving force in my career. I am always striving for perfection and aiming for the top. But in an emotional relationship, it's a double-edged sword because the value and acceptance that can make you feel your best can also make you feel your worst when it's being manipulated or it's simply not there. Maybe just being me was enough to be loved because you can't expect to be treated great if you don't first believe that you are great. I went back to my room in the hotel and lay down on the bed, sobbing uncontrollably. Deep down inside, the fighter in me still wanted to make things work, make things better. But the reality was that I knew things could never, ever be the same. Because you can't expect to be treated great if you don't believe that you're great. Over the course of the previous weeks, even the previous months, little by little, I have been building up my self-esteem and my self-confidence. Integrity is not a standalone concept, as we often make it out to be. If you think that being talked to in a bad way is not acceptable and you allow it to happen, then you are compromising your own integrity. In other words, it's like a betrayal of yourself. I knew my relationship would never be the same. I turned back around to acknowledge him, but I couldn't laugh. I was overwhelmed by the moment, too sad and too overcome to join in. I knew I'd done the right thing, but it still felt very sad. Our marriage had failed. As I continued to struggle with the fallout, I began to think something was still missing. But that wasn't enough. It's all about how you can make your own reality and your own destiny by the power of your own positive thoughts. But the schedule was the schedule, so I had no choice but to try and do the best I could. I wonder whether maybe I was getting sick, but then suddenly the tears would start coming again, and I would understand that it was all those emotions forcing themselves out. She's in her mid 80s now, but although she's not as physically spry as she used to be, she still has an amazing energy about her. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. I talked about my previous relationships and how I wanted things to be right for the kids. You can give and love and do all kinds of things to make a relationship perfect. But if you don't think that you're great, if you don't love yourself, you'll be treated in a way that is less than you deserve. And that includes not letting people treat you in any way that you don't want to be treated. This was really the biggest epiphany I'd ever had. And I went straight into producer mode. We should do a kids program, or maybe a TV show, like a Barney type of thing, but not because he's corny, but something like that. Then when I go to bed, I take it there and listen to it until I fall asleep. Somewhere deep inside, I started to believe that tomorrow would be easier than today and that things would keep getting better. When are you going to be your own keeper? I'm the band leader. I'm Ricky Ricardo. I'm the one who's going to be leading the show. And I started out with a solo on the conga. The Let's Get Loud part of the show is all about shouting to the world what life is to be lived. Being sad, being regretful, that's living in the past. And the months after the breakup, I found myself wondering, where did I go for all those years? So I knew I wanted to end the Dance Again show, the big Latin blowout. Was doing the choreography for the Let's Get Loud section. I told her I wanted to be really exotic, really sexy, and I wanted to be big. I wanted this section to be red and pink and vibrant and loud, and I even added a salsa dance break on the end of Let's Get Loud. Well, I wanted the guys to be the eye candy in my club, Babalu. The funny thing was, two of our guys felt a little uncomfortable with this part. Not because they didn't want to be shirtless and sexy, but because they hadn't really danced salsa before. They were both incredible dancers, but Latin dance is a little different. They were nervous about it. They just had to do the basic salsa step and look amazing, which was no trouble. That's the beauty of having a great choreographer when you're designing a show like this. Understood the strengths and limitations of all the dancers, and she worked around them to make sure the performances were perfect. By the end of the song, I wanted everybody to have caught the spirit, like some kind of Cuban revival, with everybody flailing around, dancing their asses off. The whole thing was just madness of the best kind. That crazy year leading up to the tour, my birthday was 9 days after we announced our divorce. I had shot one of my first movies there, Blood and Wine, and I remember back then loving the city so much and thinking, one day I'm going to live here in a house by the water. I flew down thinking I'd hang out and maybe go on a boat ride for my birthday. Something low key, befitting my mood at the time. I knew I was doing the right thing. This was a positive step for me, a belated acknowledgement that I deserved better. So I got down to Miami and we rented a boat to take out for the day. My mom, my sister, my cousins, Tania, Benny, Mary, my friend Sean B, etc., etc. It was all of the people I'm closest to, and they had come here to show me support when I most needed. We spent the whole day on that boat. Nothing but water and sunshine, good food and good drinks, and of course, great music and dancing. We blasted the music so loud that they could probably hear it all the way back to Cuba. And we danced on the deck until the sun started to set. I thought this day was going to be a sad one, but instead it felt like a true new beginning. Being in Miami with all my friends, dancing around the beautiful sparkling ocean helped me to truly believe that things were going to be okay. I hadn't figured everything out yet and still had a long road ahead, but I was going to be all right. We were all out on the deck watching the sun beginning to set when somebody brought out the birthday cake. Time for a Benny toast. It was a beautiful toast, as they always are. But when I went to hug Benny, I fell into his arms, burying my head in his shoulder. Benny just held me, whispering in my ear that I was going to be okay. And I knew they always would be, that nothing too terrible could ever happen to me as long as I had them in my life. Life to buy me books, loving self-help books to help me remember to take care of myself. And I were sitting cross-legged on the bed, and I took her hands in mine, our eyes both filled with emotion. I thought, this is the beauty of friendship. Your friends mourn your losses with you because they experience them too. Your friends mourn your losses with you because they experience them too. My dream had been to have this family forever, to grow old together and watch as our kids grew up and had children of their own. Would grow up to be amazing adults and they come visit me, and I would end up being the kind of woman who absolutely fine with sleeping in the middle of the bed all by myself. Thank God, because that vision helped me get through some really tough nights. With all the upheaval going on, the long flights and quick turnaround, I decided it was better to leave the kids at home. I was going to be gone for only a couple of days, and I knew that doing such a long, fast trip would turn their systems upside down. I frowned, and she said, "Come on, I've never been to the Ukraine." And I'm going to stop there. We're almost done, but one of them, I think it was Colonial Heights, um, the rehab center. I got one of these Reese's stuffed with pieces, and I'm just going to take a break and experience it since we're talking about experiences. And Reese's stuffed with pieces. So I've never tried this before either. Oh my gosh. And I get to do it live with you, the public. Okay. Reese's stuffed with pieces. I guess it's like the pieces inside the Reese's. So if you don't know, Reese's is milk chocolate peanut butter cup. So it has more peanut butter than Reese's Pieces in it. But it has enough crunch to have enough Reese's Pieces in it. Mm. For me, I think the candy kind of conflicts with the peanut butter. For me. Okay. So back to Jennifer Lopez, True Love. Benny and I were sitting together in the back of the plane, talking about everything that had gone on in the last few weeks. Everything was so complicated. I was glad to have the long flight and a relaxed moment with Benny to talk it all through. You're supposed to be taking care of me, but the truth is, she was. When I returned to the second season of American Idol, I was really happy to be back to my work family after such a difficult summer. We always had little sit-down playing sessions before doing the actual auditions. There was actually a big table and food and coffee, and everyone would settle in and talk about that day's shooting. I didn't want to get into a whole lot of detail, but I tried to explain a little bit about what had happened. Then, as I looked around the table, each one of them was looking at me with such sweet concern. Nobody said a word until Nigel finally said in his lovely British accent, "Okay, darling." He left the table and went to the set, and we all followed him out. I'm listening, laughing, being pensive, being emotional, just doing my thing, living the moment. That's always how it was on American Idol because these were my guys too, the people who supported and appreciated and respected me. I had just started the Dance Again tour, and Biddy told me I had to make a decision about doing a third season on American Idol. Whatever it was, it couldn't be worse than simply being too scared to do anything at all. So I finally decided to make the leap to choose to believe in myself. It was so tempting for all the same reasons I'd done it to begin with. And yet, all the events of the past year had changed me in ways I was only beginning to understand. I loved being on Idol, but it was time to move on. The irony is, being on American Idol for 2 seasons was the very thing that gave me the strength to realize I needed to get back to doing the other things that I do. And you know what they say, set something free, and if it comes back to you. And the amazing thing was, it happened as I was beginning the Dance Again tour, the tour whose whole message was to live again and love again and dance again, to take chances and put yourself out there. But keep a close eye because there's something extra special in here for you. And then for our last song of the night, an explosive finale, the biggest hit of them all, On the Floor. Every night it reminded me of what I've been through and how far I'd come in during the last year. I wasn't singing the way I did before. The fear was gone. I was better than I was when I started. By the time we hit the chorus again, all 20,000 people were jumping up and down in unison, fists in the air, singing la 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 la. Did I get all of them? Tonight we're gonna be it on the floor. The show is over, but there's one more song to come, the encore, the song that brought the whole thing together. In October of 2011, just 3 months after I announced our separation, I was scheduled to do a 1 hour show at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut 6 months before the Dance Again tour even started. I decided I wanted to put it in one of my new songs from the album I just released, Love, with a question mark. One that people might not know that well, but that spoke to the situation everyone was still talking about, my divorce. But the night of the show, I got cold feet. You're the one who's always saying that being an artist is about bearing your soul, about being introspective and making yourself vulnerable. All those beautiful words about what it means to be an artist were only words unless I follow through with them. I was standing on stage dressed in a white gown. I sang the first verse of One Love. Took a shot with the bad boy from the block. Picked my love right from the start. Mr. Wrong, he plays his part. I kept singing. Back to the beginning now, round two. Try my luck with something new. We danced until we said I do. My luck is bad, no more us two. No, me and you. The next verse. It's take three. Could there be a part for me? It was a one-time thing, perfect for that moment in time, but it would never be as special as it was that night. I lay low for a while, but when I started up again with projects that brought me back into the orbit of music and dancing, and we were in full pre-production of the tour, I began spending more time with, well, throughout the whole fall and into the new year, as we got more and more into the heart of the show, I started moving past the hurt and believing there could be something after that, believing that I could dance again. You are always going to be fine. And I realized that before, my relationships are always tinged with fear. Is this going to last forever? Now, I just want to be happy. I want to be in the moment and learn to be happy. About 3 weeks before the end of the tour, all of us were feeling it. And I knew that when the tour was finally finished, I would miss all that packing and unpacking, bundling the kids up to get on buses and planes at 3 a.m., waking up and wondering what country we were in. But then one night in the dressing room, just before I was supposed to go on stage, a thought popped into my head. You are about to make so many people happy tonight. I felt like things in my life had gone wrong, and doing this show was going to be my effort to make something go right. By using the experiences I had and choosing to learn from those difficult times rather than running from them. My one job was to go out there and make people happy every night, to help them jump and dance and sing along, to make their lives a little bit better. For years, I have been afraid to do a big tour like this one. By the end of it, I felt like it had healed me. My original intent had been to share this message with the world, this thing that I had learned about loving yourself and overcoming adversity. Life is kind of awesome that way. When you put things out there, they end up coming back to you. Doing all those shows and being embraced by the crowds was a cathartic process that helped me heal. The last days of the tour were upon us, and we have been talking about what we could do to make the final performance in Puerto Rico really special. By that point, we would have done more than 75 shows, and we both wanted to go out with a bang. I really believe that making this offer was about moving forward, not backwards. When you put things out there, they end up coming back to you. Then I said, listen, Benny, had this idea for the last show of the tour. I told him the last two shows were going to be in Puerto Rico right before Christmas. And of course, he needs to figure out when he was going to see the kids around Christmas time anyway. So I was thinking, and it could be really beautiful if you came down and did No Me Amaze with me in those last shows, I think they would love to see us together, knowing what we've been through, and that it could be a great message to everybody that we still support each other. I told him it had been a difficult time for me, and I knew it wasn't easy on him either, but that this could be a good closure for us, where we're meant to be. The day before the show, flew down to Puerto Rico to rehearse with us, and a lot of dancers made a point of coming to watch the sound check too because they were big fans. They were so happy to be with him. They were climbing all over him. At that moment, the band started playing the opening notes of No Me Ames, which was one of the first things we had ever done together. So we have a lot of memories associated with that song. And we laughed. But it was a heavy moment, and I think everyone there that day could feel it. The fact that we'd been through so much, I had invited him to come, and he was there to support me. It was a moment filled with every kind of emotion. I'm Puerto Rican, but I grew up in New York, so although I speak Spanish pretty well, it's not my first language. But I wanted to do it to speak the language of the crowd because I wanted this night to be magical for everyone. Estas son nuestras últimas actuaciones de danza de tour. With that, the band played the first few notes of No Me Ames, and I turned to face the back of the stage where it was rising up slowly through the crowd. As soon as his face was visible, the place erupted. The crowd went absolutely insane. Everyone was screaming so much the band actually had to stop playing. It was pandemonium. People yelling and crying and clapping. Took a little while. When we finished the song, we ran off stage together. I had my arm around him, and as soon as we were in the back, he exclaimed, "That's what the fuck I'm talking about." But the show wasn't over, of course. It was time for me to do a quick change and get out there because now it was my time to dance again. Suddenly, on the big screen above the stage, I appeared like a black butterfly with a black mask and the wind blowing through my hair. You have to truly love yourself to be able to love another. My face disappears from the screen, replaced by the words Amate, love yourself. Yes, I still believe in the fairy tale, but I want love in the right way. Proud that once I got okay with the fact that being just me was enough, I actually became a better person of myself as a person and even as a performer. But then I ran across this quote from Charlie Chaplin. As I began to love myself, I freed myself of anything that's no good for me, food, people, things, situations, and everything that drew me down and away from myself. You have to start practicing it, and little by little, you keep practicing, and eventually it becomes second nature. It's the messy parts that make us human, so we should embrace them too. Pat ourselves on the back for getting through them rather than being angry for having gotten into them in the first place. For example, when it comes to my music, I have never been about one thing. I can make a booty bopping record that makes you want to dance all night, and I can also create an emotional, heartfelt ballad that makes you contemplate life and love and all its complexity. I realize that you have to be real. You have to be as honest as you can be and not worry about judgment or criticism. I have to accept all of that. And I have to love all of that because that's what being a true artist is about, knowing yourself, accepting it all, and sharing it with others. He teases me, but then he has moments where he'll say, you're like a different person now. Sometimes you have to explore the darkness to get to the light and get back to who you are. We all know someone who's had their hopes and dreams and belief in love destroyed because they couldn't figure out how to value themselves. My life now might not be how I always envisioned it, but that doesn't mean it isn't great. If it weren't for this tour, this time, these kids, that marriage, I would never be where I am today, which is the best place I've ever been in my life. Sometimes you have to explore the darkness to get to the light and get back to who you are. But the view from the other side was worth the heartache. I am the woman I've always wanted to be because for the first time I can truly say that yes, I love myself. First off, I would like to thank my family, mommy, daddy. Thank you for supporting me all these years and for being the loving family you have always been. To my cousins, and to my thank you for being there every step of the way. Thank you to Benny Medina, my manager and friend for over 15 years, who has been my partner in every new adventure I embark on, and writing this book was no exception. Thanks to everyone else at Penguin who helped make this book a reality. Jennifer Schuster for your editorial direction, Kim Suarez for photo editing, for the photo cover photo, for the beautiful interior design, and Anthony Raimondo for designing the cover. Thank you to my dear friend to whom we owe the beautiful photos that truly bring this book to life. And last but not least, thanks to my beautiful babies for being the light of my life, the reason for everything I do, and for being exactly who you are. Jennifer Lopez, a global icon, she has established herself in both the film and music industries with record sales in excess of 70 million and a cumulative film gross of more than $2 billion. She has been named the Forbes World Most Powerful Celebrity and People Magazine's Most Beautiful Woman in the World. And that has been True Love by Jennifer Lopez. So awesome. We have time for some song. Oh man, which I haven't done in a while. I'm sorry, I'm just quenching very, very loudly. And one of my favorite candies that they were also giving out at the job fair. One of my favorites. So I really am not trying to be rude or anything, but from professional, considered professional. I guess how you can see some people consider professionals to only be compensated to be called professionals. Well, whether you consider me professional or a volunteer, this is part of it. Communicating, using what you have, your vocal instrument, and everything that comes with it to communicate properly. So I have chosen to also share that includes, different things as well. So I just chosen to share that today. That's because I don't even take like residue on that's left from, I had Takis earlier, the sweet tea, the Reese's Pieces, stuffed with pieces, and then one of my favorite candies. The residue sometimes that we left from it. Maybe some people ignore it, they totally brush their teeth, then there's still the toothpaste. Little details kind of count, when it comes to fitness. Because I took the fitness approach, and then everything else just kind of found found me through defamation. But as I was retiring last night, I started doing this song, and I'm going to share with you. So, you know, I had to keep it real and be honest, especially when we started doing those viewings. When we first started publishing and broadcasting, and I mentioned that we're very ID focused, um, which just makes it easier, just to be honest and forthright, and having and speak from like a personal perspective, versus broadcasting and blasting what's going on with other people, but showing what's going on with you and how other people are impacted or have been impacted by it or causing certain things from it. So this song came out. I was still going through like um, for some reason I think of an incubator, incubator stage where you have no idea who you are. You're being protected. You're in like sort of an incubator or something that's protecting you from, you know, or shielding you from anything that's trying to harm you while you are, becoming yourself. And this song came out during that time. Um, but I'm gonna sing this from well, we'll see if I sing it right. It's working and everything, no technical difficulties. Um, but I'm gonna do this, just I like to stay in my ID, and my ID found Vivian Marchulon and Knox Leon, and I'm gonna sing this to Knox Leon as Vivian Marchulon. Let me tell you why I love him. Cause he is the truth, it is so real. And I love the way that he makes me feel. And if I am a reflection of him, then I must be fly. Cause the lights that shine so bright, orange light. I remember the very first day that I saw him. I found myself immediately intrigued by him. It's almost like I knew this one from another life. Like maybe I was his husband, maybe he was my wife. And even things I don't like about him are fine with me. Because it's not hard for me to understand him because he's so much like me. And it's truly my pleasure to share his company. And I know that it's God's gift to breathe the air he breathes. Because he is the truth. It's so real. And I love the way that he makes me feel. And if I am a reflection of him, then I must be fly. Because of the light, it shines so bright. I want it to light. How can the same one that makes me so mad turn right around and kiss me so soft? If he ever left me, I wouldn't even be sad, no. Cause there's a blessing in every last sign, and I'm glad that I know him at all. Cause he is the truth, it is so real. And I love the way that he makes me feel. And if I am a reflection of him, then I must be fly, cause the lights, it shines so bright. Oh. Love the way he speaks. I love the way he thinks. I love the way that he treats his mama. I love that gap in between those teeth. I love him in every way. that a woman can love a man from personal to universal, but most of all, it's unconditional. You know what I'm talking about? That's the way I feel, and I always will. There ain't no substitute for the truth. Either it is or it isn't. See the truth, it needs no proof. Either it is or it isn't. And you know the truth by the way it feels. And since I am a reflection of him, then I must be fly, 'cause he is, yes he is. I wonder does he know? And so, because of the line about, I love the way he treats his mama, I love that gap in between his teeth. There ain't no substitute for the truth. I'm inspired to go to Madonna. And I don't know many of her songs. I don't even know the words of the song, but we're live and you know, I love that gap in between those teeth. And since I am a reflection of him, then I must be fly. Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's see. I hope this is a good song lyrically, because I think the video is like aesthetically interesting. So I hope it's a good song lyrically. Madonna. Sometimes it'd be weird sometimes it feels weird sometimes when I haven't even heard it. Like you heard it, but you haven't really, they're like, oh, I'm just going to do it live. Like, I'm just going to do it live and see how it comes out. Like, I must be one pompous jerk or just very confident. I feel it. It's coming. Rain, feel it on my fingertips, hear it on my window pane. Your love's coming down like rain. Wash away my sorrow, take away my pain. Your love's coming down like rain. Your lips are burning mine, and you take the time to tell me how you feel when you listen to my words. And I know you heard, I know it's real. Rain was just thunder brains. For the first time, I can hear my heart sing. Put me a fool, but I know I'm not. I'm gonna stand out here on the mountains top till I feel your rain. Feel it on my fingertips, hear it on my window pane. Your love's coming down like rain. Wash away my sorrow, take away my pain. Your love's coming down like rain. When you looked into my eyes and you said goodbye, could see you see my tears when I turned the other way. Did you hear me say I wait for the dark clouds bursting in a perfect sky? You promised me when you said goodbye that you return when the storm was done. And now I'll wait for the light. I'll wait for the sun till I feel your rain. Feel it on my fingertips, hear it on my window pane. Your love's coming down like rain. Oh, wash away my sorrow, take away my pain. Oh, your love's coming down like rain. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I say, never go away. 18 is it's the hardest thing. And I tell myself that if I believe in you and the dream of you with all my heart and all my soul, that by sheer force of will, I will raise you from the ground. And without a sound, you'll appear and surrender to me, to love. Rains with the thunder, rains for the first time. I can hear my heart sing. I'm me a fool, but I know I'm not. I'm gonna stand out here on the mountainside till I feel your rain. I feel it. It's coming. It's coming down like rain. I feel it. Feel it in my. Your love's coming down like rain. And that's why I said when I was reading Jennifer Lopez, that I'm feeling like doing Madonna Rain. And that's why I got inspired from NDRE's The Truth when she said, I love the way you treat your mama, that gap in between those teeth. I got inspired. So that was my song to Knox Neon as Vivian Marshall-Line. And moving on. I guess I'm gonna wrap it up, but I do want to do a Prince song. So, going into Prince, and then it's like, I happen to get this calendar, and like they only did like one brown looking princess. But it's like going from going into the L word, I'm not very quick to be like, oh, I can identify with that, me. Like it just wasn't one of those things. Because it's the L word. I mean, come on now. So, but Prince decided that he wanted to leave us. And now, what? So, for you, Prince. But I'll still help on my boots. So it's like, okay, well, whoever I marry can be Prince. And I guess I'll Tiana it. I'm gonna let out one of my songs. I don't even know any of these songs for real. The only songs that I remember was When Doves Cry. Anything that was in Purple Rain. I think When Doves Cry, is that's the name of it, was in Purple Rain. And I just got to hear Beautiful Together because they played that on the radio. Not Beautiful Together. Something would have Beautiful in it. They played that on the radio. Little Red Corvette, I remember that. But um like I read that a doppelganger or something is like some people believe that a doppelganger is something that is like somebody in your some type of spirit that you're not supposed to meet. I'm like that people, like one of those people that kind of believe that, maybe that could be a reason why I wasn't. It was difficult for a lot of print stuff to really get here. Like for me to listen to. Like the only stuff that I could get here that already went out in like the movie, that was like on the soundtrack. Oh, the beautiful ones. But anything on any of the other ones was kind of difficult. 1999, but he had already been out with the movie, but he even changed his name after that to the artist formerly known as Prince. Um, I don't know. Maybe I should start with the beautiful ones. The beautiful ones. Maybe I start with that. Cause this one was kind of fun. I felt this one came on the radio. I'm like about to go in. I'm like, oh wait, let me finish listening to this song. It's like it was kind of fun doing this one. So I'm going to this one, the beautiful ones. Oh, not too loud. Okay, the beautiful ones. Oh my darn. So no, I'm not doing this as Tiana. I'm gonna do this as Prince because that's what I want. But for you, I do a song as Tiana. But no, I'm doing this as Prince. Baby, baby, baby. You know what? You ever heard of before I go in, you ever heard of what do they call those people? They have a name. Serfs. Serfs are people who are legally bound to work in a certain place. A serf. So I'm like, okay, well, you hear about, let me look this up. A serf. They are legally bound to live on the land and work there. So like, well, what is the difference like between, like a prince and um oh okay, so a serf is more of a laborer versus like, it's like, oh, these people and they're like, oh, like they're gonna reside in this particular estate. around, whatever, as if they can't, as if you can't reside anywhere else. It's like, oh my gosh, are you like the runaway prince? Because you don't want to stay on the grounds. Isn't that cute? Oh, so it says a serf is a laborer bound by the feudal system to work on the lord's estate. So they're legally bound to live there. Like they don't live someplace else and they catching the train or they catching the bus to where they work at. They are legally bound to to live and reside on the land. And it's just like I just wasn't feeling a difference between it. It's like, like I just wasn't feeling a difference. And that to me just doesn't feel right. It's just something that doesn't feel right about that. Like I'm all for corporate housing. Like I really support it. I do. So I support that wholeheartedly. Like I'm all for corporate housing. And I'm all for like nunneries and stuff like that. You pray here, you live there. But there was something in it that just wasn't working out for me. And maybe because I think it's because I have so many different other, like I feel like we have so many different other roles and other responsibilities, that I would find that hard to like I don't know, for it to feel like it's supposed to be mandatory. Like you have to like, just because you have to like reside here on these grounds because we are equipped here for what we're supposed to be equipped with. I get you, I hear you, but like we're views with security and law, which brings about a lot of other responsibilities and other focuses than just this one place. So it just doesn't seem functional for me. So I'm a different type of prince, so I just don't see that. So if you want to call it, call me the missing prince and or whatever, it's like you have to, that has something that you need to make sense to me. Prince has put out a lot of albums, and I'm not going to be forced or made to reside somewhere that's not sensible for who I feel our responsibilities to include. That just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, he has been working on my behalf, on this behalf, on this focus since 1978. Wow, I didn't realize he was that old. I was only 1 year old. I was 1. I'm like, yeah, Prince, do your work, because when I grow up, when my bottle pop, they are not gonna get this, Prince. I'm not the one, but I am. Anyway, so I'm gonna do this one and the beautiful ones. Baby, 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 what's this gonna be? Baby, 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 isn't me. Don't make me waste my time. Don't make me lose my mind, babe. Baby, baby, baby. Can't you stay with me tonight? Oh, baby, baby, baby. Don't my kisses please you right? You were so hard to find. The beautiful ones, they hurt you every time. I need to turn my mic up. Like, turn my mic up. I can't hear this. Turn my mic up for a minute. Let's start over. Babe. I'm just preparing. Baby, baby, baby. What's it gonna be? Baby, baby, baby. Is it you or is it me? Don't make me waste my time. Don't make me lose my mind, babe. Baby, baby. Can't you stay with me tonight? Oh, baby, baby, baby. Don't my kisses please you right? You were so hard to find. The beautiful ones, they hurt you every time. Paint a perfect picture. Bring to life a vision in one's mind. The beautiful ones always smash the picture. Always, every time. If I told you, baby, that I was in love with you. Oh, baby, baby, babe, if we got married, would that be cool? You make me so confused. The beautiful ones you always seem to lose, baby, 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 baby. What's it gonna be, baby? Do you want? Or do you want me? Do I want you? I said, do I want you? Tell me, baby, do you want me? I gotta know, I gotta know, do you want me? Baby, 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 listen to me. May not know where I'm going, baby. I said I may not know what I need. One thing's for certain, baby. I know what I want, and if it please you, baby, I'm backing down on my knees. I want you. Yes, I do. Baby, I want you. Yes, I do. That was fun. Oh, I said I was gonna do one for Tiana. Okay. So it's like, okay, you know, I felt like I was in Coming to America when that part is like, okay, he was like, okay, so Eddie was like, okay, so I'm not the prince. So I'm not the prince. So you're the prince. So you're the prince, and I'm not the prince. And like he says, I'm like, oh, I'm the servant, or the I'm like the helper. Like, oh, so that, oh, okay. And then it was like, oh, so you're not the prince, so he's the prince. So I'm like, you know, and then Bad Boy is like, you be him and you be him. So I'm like, okay, so I'm the prince, but I'm supposed to give you my name. So you be the prince. Okay, so I'm the prince, but you can be the prince. So that's where we're at with Adele. I'm doing Adele's. If I can find Adele. So like, okay, so I'm the prince. Okay, but I'm supposed to be Tiana, but I'm the prince. Okay. So I'm gonna do the song. I forget what is the song. Where is the song? Okay. I'm the prince, but I'm supposed to be okay. But you be the prince. You be the prince, but I'm the prince. Okay. I get it now. Okay. So So I'm the princess, but I'm the prince, but I'm okay. But you're gonna be the prince. Okay, I'm the prince, but you're gonna be the prince. But I'm gonna be okay. All right, so I'm gonna do this one as the princess, Tiana. Because if I'm the prince, but you be the prince, then I can be the princess. So I'm gonna do hello as Tiana, but like I don't know, like I'm not gonna even share how I'm gonna do it because I'm like still in my boots and you know whatever. I'm gonna try to find an audio version. This is the video. We can just go straight to the song. And be like, oh, I'm just waiting for her to stop talking. So let's see. Okay, so okay, let me get this right because I gotta get my character right. I gotta, when it comes down to, I gotta get my character right. Okay, okay. So I'm not the prince. You're the prince. I'm the princess. Okay. Just gotta stand in my character because I don't like to flip flop back and forth. I like flip flops, but I don't like to flip flop back and forth from one to the next. I like to be very grounded in my character and consistent. So here we go. Hello, it's me. I've been wondering if after all these years you like to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's such a difference between us and a million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, you never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tell you apart anymore. Hello, how are you? It's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. See, okay, now I'm getting like intercepted because they end up coming to America. Eddie's like, okay, I renounce my throne for you if you want. If you want me to give away all of this, I renounce my throne. Just say the word, I renounce my throne. So I'm like, okay, I'm the prince. Is that like renouncing the throne? If I do this if I'm like, okay, well I'll be the princess. You can have my name. You go in my name. You go in me and our princess. Is that the same thing? Or typically that's how it's done. Typically that's how it's expected to be anyway, right? There's a prince and there's a princess. That's not renouncing anything. That's not giving anything away, right? There's a prince and there's a princess. So what's the difference? Okay, so again, I'm doing this as the princess. You're the prince. You've accepted my name. You've accepted my prince, and I'm the princess. Because that's what goes with it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Again, okay. And it's not the same, right? It's like, okay, I can proceed. I can proceed, right? Because it's not the same thing, right? Okay. Hello, it's me. I was wondering. Okay, I'll share this. Okay, so it's me. Okay, so it's the princess whose prince you accepted, who is really the prince, but is going to the princess. Because I don't know, people see princes in pants and belts. in suit jackets. I don't know. So it's going to the princess for you, but it's the prince. It's me. Get it? Okay, okay. I gave that to you really quick. All right, we're gonna start again. Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to me to go over everything. They say that time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much healing. Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be when we were younger and free. I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet. There's such a difference between us and the million miles. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. Hello, how are you? It's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. I hope that you're well. Did you ever make it out of that town where nothing ever happened? It's no secret that the both of us are running out of time. So hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. Oh, anymore. Oh, anymore. Oh, anymore. Anymore. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. Okay. So of course I had to put the whole little situation in with regards to being threatened and all of that in it as well. Um, because fortunately we were still able to not include every Earl in the situation. With regards to the 911 terrorist attacker, we were able to retain that. You know, we have several proofs of works of that, whereas, you know, it wasn't just like, oh, you know, this, you know, like you had to put out all of them with regards to, um, you know, threatening and attempting to kill, you know, who I am or what I have with Prince or Princess. Um, so thankful for that. You know, it's just this, we were able to isolate this particular Earl in the as the 911 terrorist attacker, you know, and still help the other ones, you know, protect them from this particular um, violator. So, you know, it's like you're doing it live, and you know, when the problem hasn't been resolved, you know, things like that happen. You know, we began it not there. You know, it was began not there, but because it still hasn't been laid to rest yet, it it came, you know, it came up. You know. But as a professional, you still have to, you know, whatever it is you're doing, whether you're speaking, whether you're doing a culinary showing, whether you're doing a reading, broadcasting a reading live, whether you're just vibing live, you know, whether it's a song, you still have to provide that, you know, you still have to have that defense um, in your delivery, I feel. You know, and not just delivering the defense, but having instilling the appropriate penalty with regards to that attempt as well. You know, it's like all of this, you know, is I have really grown to appreciate live broadcasting because it's just not one to be taken for granted when you have to consider all of that, and in the midst of all of that you have to deliver all of that without thinking about it. Um, and you know what? I'm going to this song because I mentioned that, you know, I've been listening to this song, and yeah, I mentioned that this threat is now consists of, it's kind of like we got a trio, a church, a court, and you know, a hospital they've been trying to prey on. And so this particular song, um, I was listening to, started, you know, for some reason I got into this vibe of, um, you know, because I never even sat down and thought why I've chosen to go a different route to contribute to the church and do my tithing versus putting it in the collection plate or in your envelope. And it's probably because of this 911 terrorist attacker and that got this also, you know, I don't know, road dog as trying to pastor. That's probably why. So I was listening to this song, and you know, I was like, I'm really like, I'm starting to get me in it. You know, like, I'm starting to get me in it. And I'm saying it. You know, and I'm like, you know, so I'm gonna share it with you. And maybe I shouldn't, but you know, maybe this is time for you to pause and not go any further with continuing to listen to this recording. So then I'm like, so I'm like, I'm like, I'm who I am. And they're trying, this offender is trying to court and trying to church. Like, who the heck are you? So this song just really got to me. Like, I don't even want to say like what if, but I'm getting MC Hammer and the doors being nailed and hammered in so that, there is no attempt by this such and such. And, for some reason, the idea of who they are trying to collect money, the name and the spirit of who they're trying to collect money in, got to me. Like, what if, it's like who would they be if the reality, the truth, it's like you're trying to take something, you're trying to do something over somebody's name, over somebody in the name of, in somebody's name. You're trying to collect money in the house of God, in God's name. So then I started feeling like this song. Like maybe this is the route that I should go about it. So this was presented to me, and maybe you can email, late showbT@gmail.com, and maybe you don't think that this is an appropriate route. Maybe you do think this is an appropriate route, or maybe I don't know. But it's like maybe you should take this route now. Maybe it's time for this since they're not getting it. Where my money? Where my money? Where my money? Where my money? And let me try to make it a little bit more clear. I'm doing it from the perspective of someone, you're trying to do this in someone else's name, in someone else's house. And they're not interested. The house you're trying to do it in, the name they're trying to do it in, that person, that not interested. Because it's like, this is the money. You're trying to do this in my name? This is the attitude? You're trying to do this in my name, over my name, in my house? While still, what's the word, cohorting? While still collaborating with the 911 terrorist attacker? You're trying to take money in my name? And we're a church. You're trying to collect money in my name over Bibles in my house? Where my money? 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 Never try me like a thug. If you do, you better duck. I'ma hit him in his body. Somebody patching you up. I'ma bust a nigga head. Somebody wrapping you up. Wanna ask you for much? Am I asking too much? Riding dirty, my 7 deuces dirty. You can tell the truth. I'm dirtier than a raven. Fight to the turn of revenue. I'ma get mine. You can call me Uncle Sam. Use it for your service, and I don't give a bush, a stash, all these. I'm gonna stop right there because I use Flatbush for some reason. I don't want to change that. I just don't. So I'm gonna start it over. Cause that's how it's like. That's the point where I'm at now. You got all these artists that I don't want to say they're interceders. To but it's there now. It's like it's there. But where's my salvation? This 911 terrorist attackers aid wants, where's my salvation? Where's mine? Where's my forgiveness? And I'm still like, where my money? I need cash. Where my money? Because you're trying in God's house over God's Bibles. And it's like that. I'm getting like this. I'm getting where my money. Oh no, I'm the Internal Revenue, and I'm trying to get you for it. I don't know, tax evasion, and that's where I'm coming from. Where my money at? Oh no, what you call those people that you owe money to? And I'm like, where my money at? No, 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 it's not my house, and you don't got it, and you don't got me. It's not, no, no, nah, nah, nah. Where my money? 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 And this is live. Never try me like a thug. If you do, you better dug. I'ma hit him in his body and patching you up. I'ma bust a and somebody wrapping you up when they're asking you for much skin. Am I asking too much? I'm dirty in my 7 douches dirty. You can't tell the truth. I'm dirtier than a reverend fighting to turn a revenue. I'ma get mine. You can call me Uncle Sam. Use it for your service. In and out. Don't give a damn flat bush with my stash. All these packets in the sky. Got the homicide for the cash. Homicide for the cash. Riding around, gunning max. Summertime. Triple C gon' gun me down. 20 birds on this serve, posted up on the curb. Got a lot of pizza games, so we at your A day. If you owe me a dime, boy, you better give me mine. Cause I'm pulling my now with one thing that's on my mind. Where my money? Pastor Reverend Pastor Jeffrey Reed Sr. Where my money? Where my money? Where my money? Where my money? Still waiting on the call. No, it's at the door. It's on the self-wanted wall. But I front another 3. Yeah, I broke him off. Now I gotta break him off. He think he using his head. I gotta take it off. Therefore, I'm losing his head and then I'm taking off. Let me break it down. Every time I break it down. And when they break it down, let me break it down. I broke it down to the smallest slab. Beans calling cats. I'm out it for my stacks. I'm out it for my stacks from the side of the bridge. You gotta call this tracks. Hey, at your front door, 3 in the morning. and you know what they knocking for. Where my money? Pastor Jeffrey Reeves Sr. Where my money? Where my money? You don't want to be the one I blast. You don't want to be the one I blast. You don't want to be the one I blast. You don't want to be the one I blast. I'm like a professor. I weigh and I measure. Triple bean on the dresser. Couldn't be fresher. Cooking's my pleasure. Cooking's my treasure. I said couldn't be better. My son you couldn't measure. Niggas said feeling the pressure. Pressure they bust pipes. I'm cool with your bitch. Your bitch. What? See, I need that. Back in Atlanta. Like back in Atlanta. Who is it? It's Rose Ross when I floss. I'm a big boss and I never took a loss. See, I need that. I might have took a loss, but it wasn't like that. See, I'm back on my grizzle. Got the streets on sizzle. Pastor Jeffrey Reeves Sr. Where my money? I need. Where my money? I need. Where my money? You don't want to be the one I blast. You don't want to be the one I blast. You don't want to be the one I blast. So, with this, I'm with security and law. I don't like court infiltration. I don't like church infiltration, church violation, court violation, Bible violation, scripture violation, law violation. I don't like it. Hospital violation where people can be treated and you're praying because you're not treatable. I'm sorry. The violator praying or attempting to gain whatever from violating because of an inability to be treated. I don't like it. So I was feeling it got here and it got delivered. Where my money? But I don't want to close out on something like that. So let's see. What can I do next? Something else had come up. Take a bow had come up, but I don't know if I want to go on that one. Trying to think about this true love, but I think that's the only song that came up. Take a bow, and I have no idea why. So maybe I should revisit it. Take a bow. All of that music and this line and that line and next line and next song. The only song that came up that I can remember is Take a Bow. And I guess because of the kidnapping, just kind of sensitive to certain things. Um, and then unfortunately, this artist had come out, it was like, oh, I got a record deal, but it was Jay-Z, so, like, I don't want to say like mindlessly singing, um, but I had to go through so much just to get back on the right path, because I got a record deal. And then I guess it's like, I guess another, okay, I guess I just got to cut the line out, because it's like she was putting the kidnapper close, you know. And then there's the song Man Down, you know. Um, it's like you put, like you don't, it's like that type of stuff. You just want to be protected from. You don't like put the kidnapper, put like the offender, the violator close to you, and then have to defend yourself with deadly force, as was done in Man Down. So this song came up, and because I haven't done it without that line, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Maybe that's why it came up. How about a round of applause? Standing ovation. Mhm. So I guess the point is, it's like this. Remember, I don't want to say all the Earls, but this Earl it's like this Earl is try to accuse royalty or like the royal house of taking or stealing from it, you know, um, but had kidnapped and, attempted to do all these offenses, um, this Earl. And so this song is about, where, you want to stand the ovation, you want a round of applause for trying to charge, this, royalty, this royal house, with something that you did decades prior to it. Like, somebody coming to your house stealing, taking it to your house, somebody else remove it from their house, but then they stole it. So, you got this, and I'm pretty certain, they've been, doing whatever, showing, whatever, not really knowing. Because then Duke went out and had the big scandal in the 2000s, with one of their teams. It's like, where is this? What is going on? You know, Having to get out of that. The with regards to this Earl, like how can this Earl cause so much trouble? So it's like, okay, let's see what and do we really think that all the other ones like join a bandwagon to have this happen so that they can be Earl? We're gonna um, you know put this one in the doghouse so that we can be. So, according to the definition of Earl, it's a British nobleman ranking above a Viscount and below a Marquess. What's a Viscount or a Marquess, you may wonder? Um, a Viscount is above a Baron, below an Earl, and a Marquess is as above an Earl and below a Duke. But it doesn't go into anything more than that. So, yeah, it's not one terrorist attacker. It's like we have proof, and that's what it is with the works. We got proof that they weren't trying to put this Earl in the doghouse so that they can be Earl. With the first, we got DMX coming out, and then him clearly fighting his way through everything that was going on. You can just go online to the Wikipedia page with all this, stuff about his arrest, all this stuff about his mental health status, just fighting against this Earl that has been causing all these problems for everyone else. And they have they had to put out the show because then it was, trying to make it a race thing, because it's like, because he was a child molester and sex offender and doing all of these kidnapping and all of this murderous stuff, you know, what was I going to say? It tried to make it about race. There was about, okay, I'm not in doghouse maybe because I'm black. So we got my name is Earl, where they used a white guy. He's like, oh, okay, now it's not about, oh, okay. Now I can't pull the race card. Okay, maybe because maybe because he's rich and he got money and I don't. Now, maybe that's why they think, maybe that's why they single me out. Just, it's not me. I'm not the one with the problem. I'm not the one with the problem. I'm not the one with the problem. I'm not the one with the offense. I'm not the violator. So then they did two broke girls. So all these different works, it's like proving that they weren't trying to gain a name for themselves in the royalty world. Because the prince is out, everybody wants to be a prince, everybody wants to be a king or a queen or a princess. They weren't trying to be Earl. It's like, no, it was this nasty. It was this one isolated offender. That's been against royalty. That's been against the court. That's been trying to charge them with this or charge them with that, or whatever. In his road dog judge, in his road dog pastor, where my money at? How about a round of applause? Yeah, a standing ovation. Oh So now you get why it's the death penalty. You look so darn right now. Oh my gosh, I don't know how. Trying to apologize. Please, just cut it out. Don't tell me you're sorry, 'cause you're not. Even if I know you're only sorry you got caught. But you put on quite a show. Really had me going. Now it's time to go. Curtains finally closing. That was quite a show. Very entertaining. But it's over now. Go on and take a bow. So basically, that's why I got put out, versus, oh, because of DMX, oh, because of the white man, or my name is Earl, because you can't be a violator and a nobleman at the same damn time. Don't tell me you're sorry, 'cause you're not. Even when I know you're only sorry you got caught. But you put on quite a show. Really had me going. So there's some improvement, cutting the first line, but the putting on the show really had me going. Not really. But it's like stuff like that happens when you got Jay-Z and he's not, he's like Aaliyah's. And, it's like, but that's the type of stuff you really shouldn't have to be like fighting your way through. Go so bad, the light goes to you for making me believe that you could be. Let's hear your speech. Oh, how about a round of applause? Standing ovation. So that was really the controversy with Rihanna. Like, oh, because Jay-Z gave her the deal. Jay-Z signed her, and Jay-Z was like a threat to the industry. Got, Damon Dash, and, what's that? Big Ball and Shot Calling on the boat, and that was really the controversy, just that whole association, now Beyonce is a little different, as you can tell by her videos. You can tell, before she got in it, that it was about showing and, showing up for the industry and the community that she went out there to serve anyway. But Rihanna coming over here and not having what was going on with royalty. It was just like she was with it, and it was not a good thing. And then trying to gain all this and support, notoriety, and all of this. So it's like when that situation happened with whatever with Chris Brown, like I mentioned before, when that broadcast from New York, it was really they were really trying to save her life. She coming out with red hair, trying to do all this with red hair and not having no idea what that means to, it's not even about Bloods and Crips, but not knowing what that means to the industry, not knowing what that means to the legacy of the industry and the purpose of the industry that she's supposed to be a part of, and then trying to do R&B, and she's Rihanna. So for me, my problem was because of all of that to try to like, it'll be one thing, like, it's like I got you, like, okay, I'm gonna take this, do this. I need for you to do it. I need for you to do this. I'm gonna stand here, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna take it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Because whatever Jay-Z tried to put in here, whatever he was trying to do, I ain't with it. Just do it. Just do it. People know you. People gonna stand by you. They gonna know. They gonna know. Just do it. I'm gonna stand here. I'm gonna take it. Like I got that one. Whoever, whatever. That one I got. Because you really needed some drastic. When these mofos got the death penalty, you really needed something drastic to happen to you to intercede for you, so that your life would not be lost like Aaliyah. Because Jay-Z was paired with Aaliyah. So when I said whatever happened, whether it was him, whether it was someone else, whatever happened, versus like, I'm gonna shit on those cars, I'm gonna shit on that car dealership. You need to be thanking them. And I still want to go into Lady Gaga. Even though I mentioned there was a little improvement, just because I still want to go on Lady Gaga right now. Because at the time it's like, oh, so you trying to take Aaliyah's place. Oh, so you Aaliyah now. So you want to be Aaliyah. Aaliyah made a decision. She made her decision to resolve and contribute the way she needed to contribute. So is that you? Rihanna is like, is that you? So I still feel it was something. It was something the show, because the show, that like I just want to go into Lady Gaga. I stand here waiting for you to bang the gong, to crush the critics saying, is it right or is it wrong? If only fame had an ivy, baby, could I bear being away from you? I found the vein, put it in here. I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, live for the applause. Live for the way that you cheer and scream from me. The applause, applause, applause. Give me the thing that I love. Put your hands and make them touch and touch. Give me the thing that I love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. Hands up, make them touch and touch. And make it real love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. I've overheard your theory. Nostalgia is for geeks. I guess, sir, if you say so, some of us just like to read. 1 second, I'm a cool, then suddenly the coons is me. Pop culture wasn't art now, arts and pop culture in me. I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause. Then when you cheer and scream for me, the applause, applause, applause. Give me the thing that I want. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. Give me the thing that I love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. And make it real love. Hands up, make them touch and touch. And make it real love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. Touch and touch. And touch and touch. Ooh. Applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause. Live for the way you cheer and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause. Give me the thing that I love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. Give me the thing that I love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. And make it real love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. And make it real love. Put your hands up, make them touch and touch. So I seriously wasn't trying to take that away from Rihanna or anything, but it's not clear. Even though there was that situation, and it's like showing, posting like her face all bloody up, kind of like, versus it being bloody up and bitch with my money or bitch give me my money. Show a reality, more of a reality to, with trying to come out with, with Jay-Z and not knowing what's going on over here, and, the whole red hair thing. So but it's still, you still don't know if she's still with it or not. I mean, not for real. All I know, she included in this protective order that we got with Michelle Trigger. For all I know, I have no concrete proof. And even though in the Cupid crib had put her with what's her name, Jennifer Lawrence, it's like Jennifer Lawrence pulled through, in my opinion, with Schrader. So we can't really say that they are in stone as a couple, because again, it is not clear to me that she's not included in this protective order that we got regarding Chris Brown with Michelle Trigger. And until then, if that's never clear, then we will never support Rihanna. But if that becomes clear, because it's just like, yeah, but if you're not settled in, like if that happened, you're not settled in the God's purpose behind it, and you're still in contempt because of it. It's like, oh, it just gives us proof that there was attempts to save you, that a savior attempted to save you, and you still turning your back on it. You still going this way and against. You're with like, well, I'm still like, where my money at? Regarding God's house and the collection plate to you too. That you're included in that. So, right now we've been moving forward with, not only that with the protective order that was secured in Virginia, but the protective order that was secured regarding Michelle Trigger as well. So I'm gonna have to wrap up, you know, or maybe I'll take a nice little pause and come back. If you can just bear with me like 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. So did I say one in Virginia? No, we secured two um, protective orders in Virginia. And the unfortunate thing is, like, you know, anyway, and they're both the same. You know, the result is the same in both. Before they went in this route, it was like at least over 12 months before the second one. Over 12 months. You know, we already had it, what was it, June 2016. It was already secured. So it looks like I don't have the date of the protective order that we're speaking of regarding Michelle Trigger. I don't have a date. I'm assuming that it was 2017, maybe. Um, that's when that one started. So, and we secured that. So, you know, like, I wish we could say that they're victims, you know, that Michelle Trigger is a victim. I wish we could say that. I wish we could say that they're contributing to, you know, they were contributing um, to what's going on, you know, especially with our HBCUs. I wish I could say that. But we just don't play around with life and death. You know, I just don't play around with Prince. You know, Prince is not here. It was done live. You know, it wasn't someone else's rendition. It was the rendition that Prince did. So we just don't play around with those type of things. So it's not like, oh, we can, like, it's on the paperwork. You know, just accept it and go in. You know, I mentioned that before. It's like, you know, be the change you want to be. You know, at least you wanted to be public and get your name out there with this public name. Accept what comes with that. You know, you want to be out here and this and that and that. You know, there's a lot of different people accepting, you know, and it might not have been us. And you can't charge, us, because You accepted something that someone else was accepting when we weren't. You know, when they were deboing and assuming a position, it seemed like we would be a victim in that situation. You know, they assuming the position, and we're under siege. You know, but they still in our uniforms, still trying to wear our uniforms or our colors or whatever, or our name. That seemed like we would be a victim. So you want to charge the victim because you believe that this was who we were. And I'm pretty certain there's stuff like, you know, like that was blatantly not what this somebody in this role is supposed to be doing. So you expect it to be legal to charge us when that's what you believe? You know, I don't play around with going into where I had to go to with regards to Pastor Jeffrey Reeves Sr. in a Good Shepherd Baptist Church with where my money at. You know, like the line said, you think it's all practical jokes and big bloopers. You know, and it has been serious for a very long time now. So this album, like a lot has been like stepping up to me, especially this song. Um, you know, this one put me into, I got into that one too, the Where My Money At one, you know, with regards to, you know, it's one thing doing a performance, you know, Prince. That's why I said like, oh, you know, isolate, you know, making, you know, like having to be required to like, do that, you know, in terms of Prince, you know, um, like doing something as Prince is one thing, doing something as the princess is another, but doing something as specifically who I am with God. Like I'm not saying that I separate myself from who I am, but doing it specifically is a little bit different to me. And so both the judge, all three, this judge, then is Martin Sr., the pastor Jeffrey Reeves Sr., got living proof of rape. And in addition, the judge Dennis Martin Sr. tried to be the presiding judge, you know, regarding a protective order against this rapist. You know, as if it was, you know, someone playing a victim. So since, playing a victim, I'm going to do this one because we got living proof, and I hadn't gone into that one, because I support the authenticity of law. I appreciate every piece that makes up the legal process. The court, the bailiff, the judge, the prosecutor, the defender, not just the defender, the prosecutor, the defender, all of those pieces. So it wasn't until that point where, it hadn't, even though it was this, it was still, it's like there are a lot of victims going around, and you can't be blindsided to that. There's a lot of victimization. So I was very conscious and considerate of that. But now I'm going in living proof with both. We already mentioned the proof with the 911 terrorist attacker. So I'm just going to lump them all. And then I mentioned about blackball. So we got blackball and doing the placing the call, got the phone. They all got a blackball call. And living proof. But with the pastor, the Good Shepherd Baptist Church, it wasn't the son where the controversy was, it was in the daughter. So it was more like the Poppy thing, in addition to the Jeffrey Reeves Jr. being living proof. Poppy showed up in that one too. So I want to do it from that perspective, just with the living proof that's here. It's just different when it's done with who I am with God. But at the end of the day, I didn't put the beats together personally myself. I didn't write the lyrics, personally myself. So at the end of the day, there is still that, which is why I have LORDE. I didn't put the graphics on the albums personally myself. So again, at the end of the day, there's still that. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucking lie. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucking lie. She was Christian and she grew up in the church. Was they a virgin if for better or for worse? Had plenty of friends and got offers all the time. So up and down, she was just one of a kind. She said she loved, but she's never got pimps. Not dominated, couldn't imagine, never dreamt. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to say that I'm including not just living proof, but the victims, which is the kid's mom. So it's like in Judge Dennis Martin Sr., I got the victim as the junior's mom. But with regards to Pastor Jeffrey Reeves Sr., I have living proof and victim as the son's mom, but then I have a duo victim with the daughter and the mother. So I don't know if it's like, that's why there wasn't any time done because they were just focusing on the daughter versus them as a duo, because that's where the offense happened. It happened with them. The sexual offense happened with them together. So it's those two things, and then of course the 911 terrorist attacker, and don't forget the blackball call. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. Because I'm a judge. Who the hell are you? Because I'm the pastor of the Good Shepherd Baptist Church that I grew from almost nothing. Who the hell are you? Because she said she's never done it. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucking lie. She said she's never done it. Look at her on a judge. No, said she was Christian and she grew up in the church. Was stay a virgin if for better or for worse. Had plenty friends and got offers all the time. So up and down, she was just one of a kind. She said she's loved, but she's never got peanuts. And dominated, couldn't imagine, never dreamt. And though she's steady looking for a perfect man to buy a ring and take a motherfucking hand, well, she said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling them on a pastor. She said she's never, my own daughter. She's sitting there telling that motherfuckers that suffer sacred and her mama told her so. And that she went and got it pierced on the loud. Can you believe she's been waiting for so long to get a grade A certified salon? She said her parents never let her out the house because they knew it was so dirty in the South. She hates to boast and she hates to brag. But man, I gotta let the cat up out the bag. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucking lie. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that. She said she never tried to take it in the bud, but knew some hold down all around slugs. She even said she never licked another girl and never had in vanilla chocolate swirl. She said that ring up in her tongue was for shout and would never be mistaken for a howl. She's telling lies over 20 years old. I guess the game should be sold, not told. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. Motherfucking lie. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucker. Said she had a nigga who was only there for rent and wouldn't shake a booty for a red cent. She said she never be niggas at a time till started fucking with a mind. She said she couldn't see how women turn tricks and couldn't picture trying to suck a. She had respect and wouldn't do nothing wrong, but they the reason why we made this song. Yeah, she said she's never done it. So that's 3 women and 2 living proof. She said she's never done, not to mention the 911 terrorist attacks. She said she's never done it. She said she's never tried. She's sitting there telling that motherfucking lie. And then this one, oh my God, move, bitch. So I mentioned that this might be the last one that Wanna Hear Lanes left when they realized that this bad news was trying to have a church. So, again, where you move because we couldn't get into Wanna Hear because, we don't have a walnut or a nutcracker. And I'm supposed to be the pastor, and I'm supposed to be the judge, and I'm supposed to have been having a house in this neighborhood, and we can't have a walnut or a nutcracker. She telling those motherfucking lies. You move, bitch. And they're like in a community for and they're a community for babies, but it's like they still, it's like they still got that attitude of wanting to win. And it's not something we're like foreseeing or saying because they move, because they're not there. They are not there. So this is, in addition to that, the city of Petersburg law enforcement as well. So it's like, ooh, and they got them. Here they come. Here they else come walking up and through here, trying to have guns. Here they come. So this is including, them as well. Because they didn't have a walnut either or a nutcracker either. But again, we got you, Officer Black, in the freezer with the ones that you can save. We got you. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. A judge, a pastor, and a hospital worker walk into a Oh no, the fight's out. I'm about to punch you. The light's out. Get the fuck back. God, your grill. There's something wrong. We can't stay still. I've been drinking a busting too, and I've been thinking of busting you upside your motherfucking forehead. And then your friends jump in. They be more dead, causing confusion, disturbing the peace. It's not an illusion. We run in the streets. So bye-bye to all your groupies and gold diggers. Is there a bump on your ass? No, nigga. I'm doing 100 on the highway. So if you do the speed limit, get the fuck out of my way. I'm seeing you one hardly ever caught sober. And you about to get run the fuck over. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Bitch. Here I come. Here I go. Uh-oh. Bitch, move. You see them headlights? You hear the crowd? I'm coming through. Hit the stage and knock the curtains out. I flip the crowd out. That's what I do. Young and successful, a sex symbol. The bitches want me to. True. Hold up, whoa, what? Side, get back, subs. What are you doing? Sideline, my fucking business. Trying to get my child support soon. Give me a truck and take the renter back. Who bought this fucking TVs and sure, bitch? Tell me that. No, I ain't, but I don't give a fuck. But I'm gonna tell you like this, you better not walk in front of my tour bus. Bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move. Because we have to bring in more child molesters into our club. Bitch, get out the way. Get out the way. There go Debo. Move, bitch. Get out the way. To bet I'm on the right track. Beef, I got the right mat. Hit the trunk, grab the pump. I'll be right back. We buying bars out, showing scars out. We heard the toes out, so we brought the cars out. Grab the pigs, cause we popping at night. Beat the shit out of security for stopping the fight. I got the fifth of the Remy, the Belvin, Chris. I'm selling shit up in the club like I work in that bitch. But the dress codes, street clothes, we all street niggas. We on the dance floor throwing bottles, beating up niggas. I'm on the Trap DTP. I watch the ball stop flying from the VIP. Fuck this rap shit. Clap, bitch, two on your body. Grab it forward, start a fight, dog, ruin the pot. So move, bitch, get out the way. Hold on you. Make way for the 2-0. So move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, move, bitch, get out the way, get out the way. For some reason, that part where it's like I work in that bitch, it's like for some reason when I was doing it's like something just coming back to me. I'm in this flashback of security training. And, I'm not going to say what we saw, what was shown, but I'm like having from that security training, I'm seeing, like I work in that bitch because we got these city of Petersburg, law enforcement, we got this jail, this pass. I'm seeing, like, yeah, I'm like seeing them, like they said, like for some reason, I don't know how it happened, but they're like, oh my gosh, like, we got badges, like, ooh, badges, shoes over here. Ooh, they fit you. These pants fit you. This belt fit you. This fit you too. Look at this mirror. This joint fit me. Like, oh, now we police now. We the police now. This robe. And it zips up just right. This work. Is this mic on? Oh my gosh, this fits just, it's like right my height. This is awesome. This suit, this thing that says Good Shepherd Baptist Church that I can wear on my tie clip. I'm like, like I work in that bitch. So I'm seeing like, just, Debo, like I work in that bitch, and I can do that too. Like, yo, these shoes fit me too. And then I'm saying, lethal weapon, with the one we got, find the one we don't got out in the street or something like that. Getting uniforms back. Because, they operate like they work in that bitch. And this has been the Late Late Show with BT. Bye.